Welcome everyone back to the Crimson 15 Podcast. I'm your host, Crimson.
M15 PCA.
Be sure to follow us over on Twitter at C15 Podcast. Join the discussion over on Discord. Link in the description below. If you're enjoying the videos, be sure to like, sub, share, and hit that bell for notifications. So we're up to episode 11 of the Orville.
Yeah.
And it's a light episode. Very light on sci-fi. It's more big on more Malloy.
Yeah, more personal.
It's a very personal story, and it's very touching.
Yes.
I know there's a lot of the fans out there, they like the big sci-fi stories, and this just isn't it.
No.
But I still liked it. I thought it was great.
But again, it all predicates you gotta love the characters.
Oh yeah.
Or it would fall apart.
If you don't love the characters, it's like, what stupid crap is this?
Yeah.
So we get more Star Trek alum. I love it. I love how they do the Orville.
Yeah, Tim Russ is on this, the guy who played Tuvok.
And it's so funny because you close your eyes and you hear his voice. Oh, it's Tuvok. I just
As soon as you see him, I know it's Tuvok. Yeah, it's awesome.
I'm going to just pretend it's Tuvok. I'm going to close my eyes. But he's like a scientist, archaeological guy, and they find a time capsule from 2015.
Yeah.
So they open it up and they see all this stuff, and there's like a Yankees hat. There's an X-Men t-shirt that was really cool.
Yeah, newspaper,
some flip-flops.
Flip-flops, Oreos.
And then the funny thing is, Bortus sees these cigarettes. He's like, what are these? And they're like, oh, back then humans would smoke these and it would cause cancer. But
it was highly addictive too.
But he's like, oh, this smells. It's intriguing. Like he's like totally into it.
I was like, oh goodness, where's this gonna lead? I know how Marklands are.
And they have like addictive personalities.
Yeah.
But Malloy picks up a old iPhone. Like, oh, it's an old communications device, and the way that they talk, it's so because they can't even figure out how to power it up.
No.
Because we're talking.
We're talking a while. And you find out right away, this came from the year 2015. So it's almost been 300 and some years since anyone's even touched this stuff.
So they're coming at this like a engineering problem.
Yeah.
Oh, what if they're saying all this huge like tech talk, and it's like it's a freaking iPhone. They can't even plug it in.
That makes how funny. Like it's something so simple. And they ask Yampin. Yampin's like, oh, why don't we just do this and this, and we're like, okay, well, I'm out of ideas. I don't know what else to do.
So they basically do some,
more low tech
stuff way to get it powered on, and they're like, oh well, and they're like, you see some pictures. There's like a woman, and she like left the video. Oh, this is for the time capsule, and it's kind of cool that you guys can see my life and all my message, and you can see how we lived in this time. So I'm like, oh, she's a really pretty, nice young lady, and it's like you could tell from the very beginning, Malloy's like
kind of
smitten
a little bit, yeah,
because it's kind of cool to look that far into the past. They're like getting a message from like someone in like ancient Egypt or something.
Exactly, and the funny thing is about it too. In the beginning, when they first trying to power it on and wouldn't power it on, and then Yamper said, "Why don't you turn it off and then turn it back on again?" And then actually worked.
Get to
reboot it, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, so that's how I felt about the whole situation in this episode. Is if you like we said earlier, if you don't like Malloy, you don't like the characters, you're gonna hate this episode.
Yeah.
And if you necessarily don't like that character, when you say you hate this episode, I completely understand.
Well, this one I won't get mad. Yeah, you can't get mad at you for it, but.
But they're going through and they're showing, and it's really funny to see. We understand everything that's in this phone, but since they're so far removed, like, oh, these correspondence between people, like their text messages. Like,
but to them, it's so important. Like, oh, look at this line, like. And like I said, it'd be like us looking at something from the 16th century we were going to look at. But back then, like, well, that's just what we had, Because they go, we have the records, but if we don't have these personal things, that's what makes it more alive. It breathes life into the past.
And then he's like, oh, look at this thing here. And they're going through the phone and seeing the messages like, oh, look here, her friend was asking for a repair center. And he calls it something, but it's like WTF. But then, we know what it is. He's what the F, but then...
But he probably should have spelled it the way, like this World Pension Center, the way. But no, he spelled WTF, no, because she's saying what the F. Okay, that's what she's saying.
But that's funny. I guess that's like another thing about how we could take something from the past and completely misinterpret. Yeah. Oh, they must have meant this, but they could have been something completely removed.
Exactly.
Which is, I think, always kind of cute and funny. Yeah. But we see Malloy's like playing with the cell phone. He's like, oh, wow, this girl's really interesting. And all her friends came to her. And he's like, I really wish I could have like met her. And then like, oh, here we go. He's
and then the guy goes and he thinks he just dismissed him because it's the past. But he doesn't understand Malloy. It's a little bit more than that,
Then I guess the B plot of this episode is the Machlin's addiction to nicotine.
It's hilarious.
Because Bortus goes back to, he's like, oh, so he basically gets the chemical compounds for a cigarette and like replicates one. Yeah. And he's like, ooh, and they smell it. It was quite alluring. And he just eats it. It's like, what the heck?
What's his Clyde eats it. You're not supposed to eat it. You're supposed to
it's like, oh, the doctor said that you like the tip, and then you inhale the smoke. And they're like smoking, and they're like, oh, this is so great. It's like, my whole life I've been standing, and now I finally sat down.
It's so bad.
And then
they get 1 and then 2 and then they make 500. Oh, jeez, guys.
500 cigarettes. How many cigarettes do you think they smoked? Probably 1,000.
Oh, easy. Because exactly. Because they're so addicted to it. I can imagine.
And it's like, oh, that's gonna be like the B plot. Him, and we already know that the Mocklins they have this kind of addictive personality. Yeah. So you can tell, oh man, they're gonna dive straight in.
It's really bad.
But we get back to Malloy, and he's trying to kind of recreate this woman in the simulator.
He grabs the iPhone basically and he puts it into the simulator and says, "Can you kind of replicate what's on this phone?
Take all the messages, the pictures, the videos,
and make like a
story
world,
basically." Yeah. So I thought that was kind of cool that if you had all that input, it would be the most realistic simulation because you have so much information.
Yep.
But he finally gets it, and it's like a house.
In 2015, like you say, she lives in upstate New York, so yeah.
And then he's like walking around and everything. It's kind of funny. He's like wearing his uniform and everyone goes like, "Oh, nice threads, dude."
Yeah, because they would see it from their perspective. It's supposed to be so realistic. So they were like, "Why are you wearing those for? What the heck?"
And he meets the woman and he's like, kind of talking to her and everything. And you could tell like right away he's like, I felt like it's not real, man. But to him it was like
it's hard to say. He's
flirting with her and there's talking and she just seems like such a nice lady and. He's like, oh yeah, wow, what was that outfit? Oh, I lost a bet with, I had to wear my pajamas.
That's so-and-so, because she said you were friends with this so-and-so. Yeah, that's what they said, basically.
And, he's like, first I thought, okay, maybe he's trying to figure out more, but then he just keeps going back.
Yeah.
Oh, because she's a singer. Oh, come see me sing at this place next week. And then, of course, he does it, and then he just goes on and on and on. I'm like, ugh. And he's only setting himself up for heartbreak.
Oh, of course.
Because you can't make this as much as real as you want it to be. It can never be really real.
And see, right away you can see this is a little more tragic because Bortus is trying to hide his addiction, whatever. Malloy's telling everyone like, "Oh, is this such a wonderful thing?" And they're like, Lamar's like,
he's like, "Yeah, that's cool. You're having fun, bro, but it's not real, right?"
Yeah.
Like he's trying to like be supportive to his friend because he's so happy.
Yeah.
It's almost like he's got a brand new toy and he's got to tell everyone about it. But he's also, dude, it's also kind of very loserish. Like, come on, bro. It's not real.
Exactly.
It'd be like your buddy telling about his pretend anime girlfriend. It's like, oh, whoa, calm down.
I know, that's a little much.
That's a little...
And like they're really into it, not like kidding around, but they're like seriously into it.
And he's like, but it's so real. The simulation is... Because it has so much input and so much information, so the simulation feels that much better. But it's still not a real thing. It's like... I can see it being like, oh, you want to experience how humans lived back then, but he's looking for a relationship.
Yeah, it's more than that.
Speaking of like a funny scene where they're reading that USA Today paper, you can just see.
We wonder if that was actually the paper from that time. That'd be funny. But then he gets his little thing about climate, whatever.
Cool, but it's just it's
small. It's small. It's not everywhere.
Kelly gets called to the bridge, and Tala's like, "Hey, we got a situation."
Yeah, she says, "You have to come out there, please."
Yeah, it's important because whenever this is gonna be the screenshot. This one right here.
I'm saving you now.
But he's just at the captain's chair smoking a cigarette. It's so cool. I just love the way he looks. Yeah, he takes a cigarette out. It's just the way he's talking. He's being very.
I like how he even had the old school, like you get the cigarette off your lip. You know, just like it's usually down here. And he gets up and he has a little ashtray already. What the heck are you doing? He sees no problem with it. Like you can, Boris, your shift's almost up. Why don't you just leave early? Go ahead, just get it.
And he's such a straight-laced guy. Like there's no like nuance with Bortus. So he's like, "Is this the problem?" Like, it's almost like, "Hey, you want to fight about it?" That part, this whole smoking bee plot,
it's so hilarious.
It's just hilarious. It's just really funny.
It's funny, and like at that point, she tells Laura, Laura, I can't believe he said that. She tells her basically, "Oh yeah, we're gonna fix it, Tala. We're gonna fix it. I'll talk to the captain. We'll
we'll get him on shift, and then we'll talk about the situation." But it's like, you can't be smoking on the bridge. But it looks so natural yet unnatural.
Yeah, it looks great.
Captain here. Same old crap again. He's smoking a cigarette.
He's all burning it on the stationist panel. What the heck are you doing? Cigarette burns.
We see Malloy and he's wearing like
2015
type clothes, and he goes back to the simulation, continues it, and he's going to the bar where she's singing. She sings really well.
Oh, she does.
And you can see he's falling in love.
Oh yeah.
But to this whole episode, I'm like, bro, don't do this because it's not sustainable.
No.
Because eventually you will exhaust all that information.
Yeah, I was about to say, once that goes into the capsule, that's it. I was about to say that. Then it's gone. There's nothing.
But then they start talking after the set and everything, and he's like, "Oh, really?" And it's really funny because she's like, "Oh, what do you?" I guess she works retail.
Yeah, she works at Macy's.
Yeah, it's really funny. And then he's like, "Oh, I'm a pilot." And like, "Oh, for commercial flights?" "Oh, yeah, sure, yeah, intergalactic commercial flights."
Yeah, a little more than that.
I thought it was kind of odd that because she even asked him if he was in the military, and he's like, "Oh no, just like commercial flights." Look, because technically he kind of is.
Well, it's funny because even the union consider themselves, yeah, they're exploratory, but they also have military too, so it's kind of a mix.
And you could tell if they would have existed both in 2015, maybe they could have been something.
Oh yeah, they were perfect for each other. It's funny, all those centuries apart, it was a perfect person. And then he talks about, oh yeah, her boyfriend, and she broke up with him, and they were together for 9 years, but he was kind of like, they got to go well, and he was worth a second date because she doesn't date most people at the first date, but he was very, he didn't do it. He was kind of flighty. He didn't keep a job. He didn't.
Yeah, she's like, I didn't want to have to pay for everything every single month, you know.
And then Lloyd talks about, oh yeah, his name, I forgot. I can't believe I forgot it. Greg. He goes, oh, my dad's Greg. Yeah, he works in construction. He works on space stations. She's like, huh? Oh, I mean, it's toys.
Yeah.
Because he even forgot at the moment that she wasn't even real. He was like, if he was on a real date in his time. That's
like, he built a space station. Like, Toy was, like, he covered it up pretty well.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Then she, like, gives him a number, and he's like, what's this? Like, he didn't know what a number is. Yeah. Oh, that's my phone number. Oh, can I get yours? Oh, you had to like...
Oh, I don't have my phone with me. I'll give it to you, and I'll give it back. I'll call you.
And this is actually a really cool thing because he gets out of the simulation, and he basically replicates one.
Yeah.
And he actually connects it to the simulation so he can like call her and text her.
Even when the simulation is off, I'll talk to her
But
back.
There's a link to it. That's kind of cool, actually.
That's a neat little thing to do for holograms so you can keep in contact with them if you use cell phones. But even when he first has the phone, he gets an old phone from like 1930s.
Yeah, I need a human phone. Yeah, it's like a rotary.
I don't need that.
But he gets like an iPhone.
And it's funny, he texts him like, oh, I thought it was going to wait. No, it texts her back right away. Like, it's funny. It still works.
Because like technically, I guess the program could be just running in the background so she's at work doing her regular stuff. And... this actual device is a connection.
You almost become a more integrated Alexa at that point.
Yeah, it's super cool. Like that actually would have like pretty cool like video game. Like, could you imagine like you had a video game and then when you're logged off, like your character still like does stuff? How cool would that be?
That would be kind of cool.
But that's completely removed. I just thought that.
That's just a cool little thing.
And then of course they still have to do regular ship stuff. So we got Mercer, Kelly. Tala.
Well, they need a special thing to get the stuff off because they're gonna see what happened is they found us in New York and they're transporting it to a museum somewhere, another planet.
So they have all the special things, and then when Malloy was on his date, she's like, "Oh, we have like a game night. Make sure you bring some of your friends." And this part just made me feel
the way he said it would screwed it up.
If he would have came and like, hey guys, you guys want? I kind of made the simulation, so if you want to see how people lived in 2015, we can go do this.
That would have been a better way of doing it instead of.
But he was like, oh yeah, come on, let's go to this. She's so.
He first said it's a party. Oh, who? And then he said the name of the girl. Oh, you mean the person in engineering? No.
Like, oh no, from the phone, and everyone's like.
Yeah. First, then you could see Lamar's look. He's like,
oh bro.
God. And they're looking at him like, you want to go there? And they're like, oh, you in the simulation? She's like, okay. I mean, you can see Kelly's like, all right.
Because he's way too excited.
Yeah.
Again, it'd be like someone inviting me to your pretend anime girlfriend's thing. It's like, dude, that's like not a thing.
It's bad.
And then, of course, Mercer's like, yeah, sure. And he has like the Seth MacFarlane BS smile on his face. Like, oh my God, I don't like this. But he's like trying to put a good face on it.
And they go, and then Holly goes, I wonder if he's been working too hard. And I go, no, Gordon never. That's not it. And then even the guy goes, and then the Malloy's, why don't we take away his privileges, like if he doesn't go because if he doesn't shape up,
that's after they go to the party.
Okay.
But then you have to deal with the B plot with the smoking habit. Just in this picture right here, what is there like 70 cigarettes on the table?
And the other thing is, and then Kelly goes, "Oh yeah, I forgot because this just happened. I have to talk to you about a matter. What is it?" And then they both go. They can't them go to the room.
They go in the Bortus and Kleinen's room, and they just have the table smoking in it. It's funny how natural it looks because it's just they're aliens though. And they're like, guys, you guys stop smoking these cigarettes. Like we're going to sick bay because these things are actually bad for you. Like, oh no, but they just love it. And that's when they find out, whoa, I guess like the Mocklin, they're to be addicted to
even more so, like way more so.
And they're like, you're literally the first two people to ever experience nicotine.
So we can't give you a cure because we don't know what to do. We don't even have we have cures for humans, but that was a long time ago. You're a new race.
Yeah, we'll have to come up with
something. So
something.
I'm thinking to myself when I saw this and I go, man, Marlboro would have made a killing on Mocklin.
I want to see someone needs to Photoshop Bortus riding the horse. It's flavor country.
And he needs to wear his mustache. That'd be the best, dude.
He's like on his horse and everything.
The mustache he's got it though. He's on the horse. It'd be
He's the
perfect.
Marlboro man.
Yeah.
The Marlboro Markman.
Oh man, if they were still around, they'd have made a killing on Mark Rockland. They'd have been so rich.
But the thing is, we don't know the long-term effects on him.
Oh
but
no,
it's just the addiction.
They go so bad, you would have to take a puff every 5 seconds. Oh my god, that's how addicted.
Yeah,
it
she's like, well, what happened last time you didn't have a cigarette? Well, for 30 minutes, and I got all shaky and jittery and everything.
because he was stuck in the elevator with turbo lift thing.
Not the turbo lift elevator.
Elevator, sorry, we have more Star Trek term. But it's so funny because they asked Bortus that. Well, it hasn't happened to me because he's been smoking so much.
Yeah, and Bortus is constantly smoking cigarettes nonstop.
Yeah.
Like one after another.
Exactly.
So like he doesn't even know what it's like not to be without one.
That's what he said. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, oh my goodness, that's not good. He's been smoking that much.
So like, hey, you guys have to go cold turkey. No more cigarettes, and you guys have
Until
to
we
help each
find
other.
that cure, yeah.
It's like as a couple, you need to help each other so you don't smoke. And they both look at each other like, oh man, here we go. Because
Yeah, and then she says, she basically said, what is it with you two? Always something with you two. Goodness.
But we get to that little party.
Yeah.
And I guess they're doing like a Pictionary game night.
Yeah.
And it's a whole. First, I actually literally paused the episode. I'm like, what is he trying to draw here? It was like, Salad Man never keeps got to come up with these things.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be Julius Caesar. I'm looking at that picture.
And the guy keeps saying cereal or something.
Cereal,
Like that.
man.
That's what he's talking about, cereal.
The man who loves cereal. Like, stop saying the same thing over and over again. And you could tell Kelly, Mercer, Lamar, and Tyler are like, oh, this is sad. Because this isn't an observation. This is like him really enjoying this.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a little pathetic.
Exactly.
Then, I thought Captain Mercer being kind of a dillweed. He's like, oh, it's almost 28 hours. Oh, a military man. Oh, that. He's like, is that a hipster way? No, it isn't. Like, it's just,
and he just leaves.
But that's Lamar. He just wants this relationship, and she seems like a nice lady. And he actually basically spend the night together.
Yeah, on the simulator,
So
basically.
he slept the whole night there.
Yeah, and he talks about. She goes, "I'm scared of turbulence." He goes, "Well, just think of it like being in the thing of jelly." Like Jello, and then if it shakes all that, you'll still stay in the middle.
Yeah,
so no matter
even
what
though
happens.
you felt your plane is still flying.
Yeah,
and then it's a nice moment. If you didn't know this was the Orville, you'd think it was some regular.
You would think this was like maybe the
sitcom.
OC or something. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't feel like a.
But he spent the night there and everything, and then he's getting a call from the bridge. You're supposed to be at your helm.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh crap, I'm late for work."
He turns off the simulator. Why are you still in bed? So he falls to the ground like an idiot.
Yeah, like
What are
everything
you
disappears.
doing?
So he's like running through the halls, getting ready for work. That's so funny.
Yeah.
And you're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, it'll never happen again." But that's when they start realizing, yeah, this is affecting his work. It's you have to talk.
And
to
Kelly
him
had
about
to tell him this isn't a cruise ship. You have to be on your ship. You're the pilot.
And then they hear smacking in the ground. I guess Bortus is chewing gum.
Yeah.
And they're like, what are you doing? Oh, it's gum. I read that it's supposed to help you as an aid to get over smoking. Well, is it helping? No, it's not. He has that cold look on his face. This gum isn't doing a damn thing. You can tell he just... And since Lamar, he has his phone hooked up to the simulation, she calls him.
Yeah.
So he's like at the bridge, I'm at work right now. And they're like having this little cutesy conversation. And everyone on the bridge is like, are you effing kidding me? One, it'd be inappropriate if this was a real relationship.
But this is not even real.
And this is a pretend one. So it's like double inappropriate.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, and he's so excited.
I know.
He's so happy. And I feel so bad because it's so fake.
Yeah, it is.
But that's when they have that big conversation. They all get together saying, hey, what do we do about this?
Yeah.
And that's when he's like, hey, baby, take his privileges away. He
And listen until he gets his duties are more important.
Yeah.
But
then they're like, no, this is something we just taking it away from. It's not. We have to solve this problem.
Yeah, and then even they were talking, and how I go, well, it's like what we're doing with Bortus and Clyde, and there's the smoking. No, that's different though. This is there's a cure for that. There's not gonna be a cure for this. This is not gonna end so easily.
And then Lamar comes up. Oh, I want to know how did game night go? How did you like?
I want to show the pictures you sent me, of the captain's hat and the dog. And you're like, oh.
And everyone's like, oh my goodness. They're like, you got to stop this. It's not real. Then he kind of gets like, well, Isaac's not a living being, and we treat him like that. But this is
But he has sentience, though.
Well, how do we know that? How he's not just programmed that way? It's like, dude, when you're having to start to dig that deep, even Kelly's like, you're stretching.
Yeah.
Well, you're stretching.
Yeah, but even said, well, it's not a simulation in the sense that I'm using all this stuff from the phone. I haven't changed anything. So therefore, is it really a simulation? And she's even saying, that's a stretch.
Because it's still fake.
Yeah, you got a little bit on your side, but not much. You got a little wiggle room, just a tiny bit.
And then he even throws it in freaking Captain Mercer's face. Well, you can bang a freaking krill, but I can't be in love with this girl. Dude.
She lied to me. That's different.
Dude, that's so...
Exactly. That's a real person. Exactly.
That's such a low
blow.
And
then you can see Captain Murray drink something. He's looking at him like, you freaking jerk, man.
What a jerk thing to say to him. And then, they kind of have like a, a little bit of that argument. So can I go back to my post? And he's like, yeah, go ahead. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, man. That did not go the way they wanted it. But yeah, he's in love with something that isn't real.
Yeah. From a girl that was from over 300 years ago. I mean, come on.
Then we get back to the smoking plot. Bortus comes home and he's like, oh, Clyden isn't home. And he uses the machine, the thing, locate Clyden. Oh, he's in one of the air locks. And he's in there smoking a cigarette and he sees him. Oh, you got me. Oh, it was only one. It's always like, we have to work together and you're basically cheating. Then Clyden sees a cigarette hit in the apartment, in the room. Oh, where did this come from? Is there any more? And if you don't show me that, then you're sleeping, in your bed alone.
He goes, and as soon as he says it, he goes, well, it's getting late. I got to go to bed now. Now we're talking about this.
He's like tries to change the situation. He has one cigarette here, one there, a whole pillow of cigarettes, just like 100 cigarettes. It's so funny. Just see like this bickering. And then like, okay, from now on, we have to go everything cold turkey. We get back to, we see Malloy. Every time we see him in like regular people, like clothes, it's like, he walks in the simulation, and it's her and her old boyfriend that she said she broke up with. Yeah. And she kind of has to explain to him, we're going to try to patch things up. And then he feels all heartbroken over it, but it's... None of this is real, no. And that's what happened.
And that's what happened. The cell phone had that, so it's like, well, that's what really happened. You can't get mad at that. It's, And
she's like, well, then maybe we can still be friends. Oh, that's just the worst thing in the world. It really, really is.
It is.
And... his emotions are real, but over a thing that isn't real.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just such a tough thing because you can't say, we'll just forget about it and get over it, but he got emotionally attached.
Yeah.
So he feels all like, he even talks to Lamar about it afterwards. Oh man, she got back with her boyfriend, but it's not a real thing. And even he's like trying to be sympathetic, but it's hard to be sympathetic for someone with their imaginary girlfriend.
Yeah, Lamar goes, yeah, I feel for you. I know what that's like. You go, and then Malloy's like, really? He goes, no. Like, no girl's ever broke up with me. And one time she did, I could still have sex with her.
She's like, oh, but you still want to come over, so I really don't know how that feels.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, oh God, I thought it was over.
No.
I thought he was going to be done with it.
No, but I even said, what? He can't change and get rid of the boyfriend. I go, can't do that.
That's exactly what he does.
So then at this point now, you've lost every wiggle room you had.
He's like, change parameters, remove Greg or whatever. Get him out of the everything in there. So he goes back into the simulation, and it's at her work. I guess he works at Macy's.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing since he got removed from the program, they're boyfriend and girlfriend now.
Yeah.
So he's like, hey, I thought I'd stop on by, and she's being super nice and flirty with him. So I'm like, oh, I guess they're still together. And they kind of do a trick on you. Because she's like, how about you take me flying? I think my boyfriend would be upset. He's like, well, boyfriend? Who's that? And it's him. He's like, oh, she's just joking.
Yeah, she keeps messing with him. Oh, Greg. Yeah, it could be Greg one day, Steve. I go back and forth. But not like you. It's like, oh, okay, for a minute. Did something go wrong here?
I thought for a second she was going to become like anyone that would just
Oh, that's what I thought so, too. I was like, oh, wow. That really turned a little weird.
But then we get what we were thinking. You can't, once you change one little thing.
Strain of, yep.
Yeah, you pull one strain, it's going to all fall apart.
Yeah.
Then he's like, oh, how about you take me on one of your flights and you can get over my fear of flying? It's like, okay, as long as you let me come sing with you on stage.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you talking about? She's like, remember you can sing and everything. He's like, yeah, in private, I'd never sing in front of anybody. That's way too scary. I wouldn't even do that for you. That's how scared I am to sing in front of everyone. Then he's starting to realize, oh, it was her old boyfriend. During their relationship, he gave her the confidence to sing on stage.
Those strings, you pull one, and then the other things
he changed her.
Undone. Yeah, he did. From that point, it's not the same anymore.
Yeah, then his whole argument of, her real life, but this wasn't the real version of her.
No, it wasn't. And even he paused and he goes, okay, computer, why does she want to sing anymore? What thing? We have to add this program back. You mean Greg? Yes, Greg was the one, and then he's like, oh, then that's when he realized.
And then we get a nice little scene with Kelly and Malloy. Because he's kind of still sad about it. He's like going through the text message. It's all right there. She got back with her boyfriend, and then they were happy and everything. Well, that was her real life.
Yeah.
But she comes in, and they kind of have a nice little conversation about how everyone who comes into your life, you love them, you hate them, or indifference, they all have an effect on you.
Yeah.
And she even does this little funny thing with her. She can like cross her eyes.
Just one eye at a time, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, what the hell's that? It's like, well, Ed taught me that.
Yeah.
And if I never would have that relationship with Ed, this would never be.
Yeah.
But you have to go deeper. If there was no Ed, there would be none of us would be here on the Orville.
Nope.
So you can't remove things in our lives, we can't pick and choose our interactions with people.
Yep.
But they're with us, and that's what makes us whole and everything. Like, oh, that's really cool. A nice little how everyone in your life does have an effect on you.
Yes, it does.
And it's really funny because they're really together in real life.
Oh, they're going to get married. Yeah, that's just funny.
And we get back to the B plot.
And they're eating all this
food. They're like eating a bunch of junk food, and they're just like at each other's throat.
Yeah, he wants to.
Oh, you had that last thing. I only took one bite. No, I saw you eat the whole thing. And they're just screaming at each other. And he's like, Clyde is like, screw this. I have on a cigarette. You're not getting a cigarette. If you go for that machine, you're going to regret it. They just have a brawl.
They just decks them. They start fighting.
They have this huge fight. And then the Dr. Finn comes in, sees them all the four fighting. She's like, what the hell's going on? And then she's like, well, guys, then it's funny because they'd stop and look at her. Well, you can leave now. Like, they just like, get out of here. We're dealing with something right now.
Yeah, I bet you were. But she goes, okay, I have the cure, so we want to take a first. They both raise their hands. Okay, we don't want this anymore.
It's so funny. That whole B plot added to that.
Oh, hilarious!
Of, just laughing because it's pretty sad.
Yeah, you need to have that funny parts because the rest of it. And we were when even Crimson said a little bit earlier. They thought, oh, maybe Topal might have got a cigarette. But I'm glad they didn't go there with that. It didn't need to be that dark. You already had that. He didn't need to add to that for the main plot being sad.
And I thought this was really nice. I guess he re-added Greg to the simulation, and he goes because she's singing in front of people, so he had to re-add her to it. Then he goes up and she's singing. He goes on stage with her and they sing a song.
Scott Graham can really sing too, which is cool.
And she's like, "Oh, it was great that you came tonight." And she's with her boyfriend, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you're a really lucky guy. She's a really special girl and everything." He's like, "But I really came here to say goodbye. I had to take a job. They're doing some experimental airplane designs.
And maybe it'll be good enough to get into space."
And she's like, "Oh, since you're this big famous spaceman, don't forget it." He's like, "I could never forget you," because that was one of her things that she said in her time capsule thing was, "Hey, I just it'd be cool if someone remembered me like in the future, so like he'll never forget her."
See the archaeologists that are gonna look at her just saw that little snippet like, okay, that's interesting, but he's actually gonna feel that. And then at the end she mentions, "Oh yeah, and I'm gonna take that phone. I'm gonna put it in a capsule." And it's like, "Capsule? Yeah, I gotta go next week. They're doing a capsule. They're put into the little thing so that way it can go to the future."
Yeah, and I just got the new iPhone, so I'm gonna put it in there.
Yeah. And maybe someone in 1,000 years will see it. And he goes, well, maybe sooner, like 350 years.
And then they take a picture together, and it's just like that thing that never was, but was in pretend, but not reality.
That would be funny if it actually was on the cell phone. Wouldn't that be something like,
oh, God, that happened? Then they take a picture, and that's the end of the episode.
It's so sad.
And it's like, oh, honey's Malloy, he needs to... It's, I love all the characters in the show. There's not a single character I'm like, ugh, I hate that character. So I really enjoyed this episode. I felt bad for him. I love the B-plot comedy with the cigarettes. I thought that was hilarious.
And it's not so cut and dry like it was with Bortus and his addiction, because this was more looking for a relationship, but it wasn't just sex. Yeah. It wasn't just, it's
because nicotine is an actual addictive substance, and it's not like a mental thing. It's actual physical addiction. But I thought it was a pretty fun episode. But I'll probably watch it again just for the comedy aspects of it. But I can see how this might fall down the memory hole for a lot of people. Yeah,
but the thing also I will say too about it, I think it also shows when you look at it in its totality that in a way Malloy was in their lives. In a kind of weird, sweet way.
Yeah, in a weird way.
He was there in 2015. I have to see it that way. Like, it's kind of sweet in that way now.
It's a bittersweetness to it because he found someone that he really liked and cared about, and he wanted her to be happy, so he like re-added to get that little extra.
See, if Malloy was back there, that could have happened the same way.
Yeah,
it probably would have.
Like that.
That's hilarious.
But I don't really have any sense. There's no really big sci-fi thing.
I like how the fact how I had a Yankees hat on.
Yeah, how do I look?
Yeah, that's funny.
But if you have anything else, I think that's gonna wrap it up. Because I really can't think.
There's not too much to say. I just think it was sweet. McFarlane, this was his favorite. I can see why. It's a personal.
He's a sentimental dude.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, you can really tell somebody McFarlane likes the feel episodes.
Yeah.
But I guess it's gonna wrap it up. But pretty light overall.
Yeah, I like when the paper they said Senate passes bill.
Yeah, it's like the way he's reading it, he's like a regular person on a park bench reading a paper.
Yeah, that's funny.
So funny. Even reading papers is almost foreign to us now.
Yeah,
everyone just does everything on their phone.
Exactly.
But that's gonna wrap it up for this episode. I've been your host, Crimson Sin.
Invitine PCA.
Thanks for watching.
See you later. Bye.
Crimson Sin here. Thanks for watching the video. If you're enjoying the content, be sure to sub, like, share, and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss a single upload. If you have any tips or story ideas, hit us up on Twitter at C15Podcast, or better yet, join our Discord server, link in the description below.